So today we'll move on to the last session on the breathing and exchange of gases. So we'll discuss about the transport of carbon dioxide. In the last session we discussed about transport of oxygen. So in case of transport of oxygen, a maximum amount of oxygen will be transported as RBCs. But in case of transport of carbon dioxide, where 20 to 25% will be transported through RBCs and 70% of the carbon dioxide will be transported as bicarbonate. First we'll look into the transport through RBCs. So here, whereas mainly four important factors which are mainly involved in the transport of carbon dioxide. Okay. Factors such as partial pressure of oxygen, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, H+ ion concentration as well as the temperature. Partial pressure of oxygen, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, H+ ion concentration as well as the temperature. These four are the very important factors. Okay, those are the very important factors for the transport through RBCs. Now we'll start it from the body tissues. So, in the body tissues, partial pressure of oxygen is low, partial pressure of carbon dioxide is high, H+ concentration is high as well as the temperature is also high. Okay, in the body tissues, partial pressure of oxygen is low, partial pressure of carbon dioxide is high, H+ concentration is high and the temperature is also high. So, the carbon dioxide associates with the hemoglobin and forms the carbaminohemoglobin. Okay, so in the body tissues, due to all those factors, the carbon dioxide combines with the hemoglobin and forms the carbaminohemoglobin. And when it reaches to the alveoli, when this reaches to the alveoli, where the partial pressure of oxygen is low, partial pressure of oxygen is high and all the other factors are low. Okay, partial pressure of carbon dioxide is low, H+ ion concentration is low, temperature is low. All these factors are low. That is why what happens? The carbon dioxide gets dissociated from hemoglobin. Carbon dioxide will get dissociated from hemoglobin and that will be released out. So this is in the case of transport of carbon dioxide as through RBCs. Okay, so here mainly four factors will matter. Where in the body tissues, oxygen partial pressure is low, all the other factors are high. That is why carbon dioxide combines with the hemoglobin and forms the carbaminohemoglobin. Where in the case of alveoli, the partial pressure of oxygen is high, all the other factors are low, so that is why carbon dioxide gets dissociates and that will be released out. So this is the first foremost way of transport of carbon dioxide. Next, as I told, 70% of the carbon dioxide will be transported as bicarbonate. So that will be transported as bicarbonate. So what happens? Here one of the very important enzymes. So there is a presence of an enzyme which is found in RBCs as well as the plasma, that is carbonic anhydrase. This is a one particular enzyme which is having highest turnover point. Enzyme with the highest turnover point is nothing but carbonic anhydrase. So here, in case of the RBCs, what happens? The carbon dioxide combines with the water and forms the carbonic acid. So this is nothing but carbonic acid, and this carbonic acid, where in the tissues there is a high level of carbon dioxide that gets dissociated into bicarbonate as well as the H+. So here what happens is, where in the case of body tissues where the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is very high, so the carbon dioxide will be combining with these particular substances and that will be in the form of bicarbonate. When it reaches to the alveoli, when this particular substance reaches to the alveoli, where in case of alveoli partial pressure of carbon dioxide is very low, that will be dissociated. See, all these reactions are reversible reactions. These reactions reactions are reversible reactions, so that is why they can be dissociated and it will form a carbon dioxide and water in the tissue, in the alveoli, where the carbon dioxide will be released out. Okay, alveoli, partial pressure of carbon dioxide will be low, that is why that will split. Whereas in case of body tissues it will be high, so that will be in the form of bicarbonate. Okay, that will be in the form of bicarbonate. Okay, so here there is a mechanism known as a chloride shift mechanism. Okay, in case of chloride shift mechanism, what happens is this particular dissociated bicarbonate as well as the H+. So some of these bicarbonate will shift towards the plasma. From this RBC, some of these bicarbonates will shift towards plasma. So to balance it, chloride from the plasma will be moving towards this. Okay, bicarbonate will move towards plasma, so the chloride from there it will move towards the RBC. So that is why that is known to be the chloride shift. So that is mainly meant for the balancer. So this is a transport of carbon dioxide as bicarbonate. 70% of the carbon dioxide will be transported as bicarbonate. Here there is mainly a reaction. Carbon dioxide combines with the water in the presence of an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase and forms the carbonic acid. This carbonic acid again in the presence of same enzyme that will be dissociated from bicarbonate as well as the H+. So due to this H+, in the body tissues we have high concentration of H+. Whereas in the case of alveoli this reaction takes place, that is why low H+ concentration. So this is regarding to the transport of carbon dioxide. This is one of the very important concepts. Okay, exchange of gases as well as the transport of gases. Those two topics are very important. Questions can be asked from those two topics. Next, moving on to the next topic, that is regulation of respiration. So now regarding to the regulation of respiration, how respiration is regulated. For the regulation of respiration, the first foremost we have a center called the respiratory rhythm center. There is a presence of respiratory rhythm center in our medulla. Okay, so there is a presence of respiratory rhythm center in our medulla, as well as there is a presence of one more center called the pneumotaxis center, which is mainly found in our pons. Now, the respiratory rhythm center, if there is an alteration in any of the substances in our body, carbon dioxide is increased or any other alterations where or the signals which will be sent towards these centers leading where there is an increase in any of the substances. So this center will be activated, that will reduce the respiratory rate. That will mainly reduce the respiratory rate. Where in pneumotaxic center that will not directly act, that will be activating respiratory rhythm center. Pneumotaxic center, if there is, see normally what happens is, if there is an increase in the carbon dioxide in our system, then these centers will be activated because carbon dioxide has to be removed from the body. So these centers will be activated. Especially we have chemosensitive areas, chemical sensitive areas. These chemical sensitive areas will especially activated when there is an increase in the carbon dioxide. When we have increase in the carbon dioxide, then these centers will be activated. So that will send a signal towards these respiratory rhythm centers. In turn, there is a decrease in the respiratory rate. So, respiratory rate will be decreased. See, per minute we will breathe around 12 to 16 times. Okay, so per minute. So, if we reduce it, especially we do pranayama and also that is to mainly to reduce the breathing rate. Or you might have heard that the deep breathing is very good. That is mainly because if you breathe many times, okay, so amount of oxygen intake will be reduced. Okay, if you breathe many times, the amount of oxygen intake will be reduced. But if you do a deep breath, oxygen intake will be more. It will be good cells. If you take more oxygen, it will be good for the cells, and that will be anti-aging. It will be like a anti-aging. That is why pranayama, which is one of the good way of mental exercise. Okay. So next, these will regulate the particular respiration. We don't have any centers. We don't have any areas to recognize increase in the oxygen level. There are so many chemosensitive areas that will recognize the increase in the carbon dioxide, but we don't have any centers to recognize the increase in the oxygen. Why? Because that doesn't make any difference. It is good. Okay, if there is an increase in the oxygen level, that is good. You might have heard about the higher altitude sickness. People will have a high altitude sickness. What is this high altitude sickness? When we go to the higher altitude regions, such as we have Rohtang Pass in Manali, as well as Mansarovar, all these regions, what happens is when we go to the higher altitude region, partial pressure of oxygen will be low. Okay, where the oxygen concentration will be low. That is why one will have a sickness because of low oxygen. But after around 10 minutes, will become normal. Okay, so that is mainly because our body will adjust it to that particular condition. Our body will be adjusted. Body will start producing more of RBCs. People who live in higher altitude regions will considerably have more hemoglobin compared to people who live in plain. Okay, plain as well as higher altitude region, those people will normally have high oxygen content, hemoglobin content. Okay, so that is regarding to the regulation. And the last topic is the disorders. So in the disorders, the first and foremost is the asthma. Okay, asthma is nothing but the inflammation. Okay, it is mainly inflammation of bronchi and bronchioles. Okay, bronchi and bronchioles. The people with asthma will have a breathing problems. They will have a wheezing problems. Sometimes nowadays asthma is most common because their immunity is not very well developed. Okay, when immunity develops, we have to expose towards the pathogens, then only immunity will be developed. People with the kids, nowadays the kids, they won't go towards the dust. Wherever there is a dust, they will not go towards that. So that sometimes what happens is all these conditions may lead to develop asthma. Where asthma is mainly due to some of the dust particles. Some will have pollen grain allergies, such there are various animal dander allergies. Okay, so that might lead to the asthma where it is the inflammation of bronchi and bronchioles, so the individual will have difficulty in breathing. Okay, and emphysema. Emphysema is a damage of alveolar wall. Alveolar wall is damaged. Okay, when the alveolar wall is damaged, of course the entire process of respiration will be affected. One of the reasons for this is nothing but the smoking. Okay, smoking which will cause the deposition towards these alveolar walls, so that will mainly affect these particular walls. So that is mainly damaging the alveolar wall. And the last one is the occupational respiratory disorders. Occupational, people who work in industries, stone grinding industries, polymer industries, plastic industries. Okay, so in those industries, what happens if they are not wearing proper mask and all? Then in such conditions where the dust particles that will be inhaled to their lungs. Okay, you might have heard about silicosis. Especially people who work in polymer industries, a small dust of those particular plastic that will be inhaled, that will be adhered to the wall, okay, that will cause the inflammation. As well as black lung disease, people who work in coal industries, okay, black lung disease, again those dust particles, so that will affect their entire respiratory system. That is refers to the occupational respiratory disorder. In such conditions, there is a formation of fibrosis. proliferation of fibrous tissues takes place. Lung fibrous tissues proliferation takes place, that might lead to the fibrosis. So that is especially regarding to the disorders. Asthma is the inflammation of especially bronchi or bronchioles. Emphysema, damage of alveolar wall, especially one reason is smoking. Occupational respiratory disorders, especially mainly by the people who work in various industries. Okay, people who work in various industries where they may be caused by the occupational respiratory disorders such as silicosis, black lung disease, and that might cause the fibrosis of tissues. Okay, so this is regarding to the disorders. So this is about the complete chapter, breathing and exchange of gases. So here in this chapter, breathing and exchange of gases, we discussed first and foremost about the respiratory organs. We discussed about the respiratory organs, where there are different respiratory organs such as there are different organisms consisting of cutaneous respiration, respiration through skin, or there may be bronchial respiration, respiration through gills, there may be tracheal respiration, respiration through the body surface, respiration through the book lungs, book gills, and respiration through the lungs. That is nothing but pulmonary respiration. Next, moving on to the human respiratory system. So in case of human respiratory system, there is a presence of, it starts from the nasal openings or the nostrils. Okay, human respiratory system starts from the nasal opening or nostrils, moving towards the pharynx region, where in the pharynx region there is a presence of oropharynx, nasopharynx, as well as the laryngopharynx. So towards the laryngopharynx there is a presence of glottis as well as epiglottis, where epiglottis is a cartilaginous flap which avoids the entry of food into the lungs. Okay, and next there is a trachea. It is a cartilaginous ring-like structure. Trachea is mainly consisting of cartilaginous ring-like structure. It is a C-shaped ring. It is known to be the incomplete cartilage. And at the thoracic vertebrae region, where this particular fifth thoracic vertebrae region, this trachea which will be divided into bronchus, left and right bronchus, and this bronchus is further branched to form bronchioles, primary, secondary, tertiary, as well as the respiratory bronchioles. At the end of these particular bronchioles, there is the presence of alveoli. Okay, so there is a presence of alveoli. So this alveoli is consisting of wall. Okay, wall which is in connection with the blood capillary. Alveoli is in connection with the wall, and that is in connection with the blood capillary. So here, regarding to this, the lungs which is covered by a membrane called pleural membrane. There is a presence of two-walled structure, that is a pleural membrane, and the pleural membrane consists of a fluid called pleural fluid. Okay, so there is a presence of pleural fluid, and this pleural fluid, one of the protective layer which will be a protection against the various kind of shock. Okay, so that is regarding to the pleural membrane as well as the pleural fluid. So now covering to the lungs there is a presence of ribs. Okay, so there are ribs, and on the dorsal side there is a vertebral column, and on the lower side there is a presence of diaphragm. So that is regarding to the lungs. Okay, so next, moving on to the mechanism of breathing. So in the mechanism of breathing there is mainly two steps, that is inspiration as well as the expiration. So in the mechanism of breathing, it mainly includes the muscles such as the phrenic muscle of the diaphragm as well as the external intercostal muscle of the ribs. So initially there is a contraction of these muscles, and that lead to the increase in the lung volume and decrease in the intrapulmonary pressure, which leads to the intake of oxygen. Okay, inhalation. Whereas in the case of expiration, where there is a relaxation of intercostal muscles as well as phrenic muscles takes place, that will decrease the lung volume, leading to exhalation of air. Okay, so that is regarding to the mechanism of breathing, where spirometer is mainly used to measure breathing rate, and healthy human will breathe around 12 to 16 times per minute. So there are various respiratory volumes as well as capacities are included, such as tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, residual volume, vital capacity, total lung capacity. All these are the different kinds of respiratory volumes as well as capacities. Moving on to the exchange of gases, where the exchange of gases especially takes place between the lungs as well, takes place between the alveoli as well as these particular body tissues. Okay, so that is especially regarding to the exchange of gases, where mainly the partial pressure of oxygen as well as the partial pressure of carbon dioxide, two are the very important factors. Where there is an increase in partial pressure of oxygen, that leads to the oxyhemoglobin formation, and increase in the carbon dioxide leads to the carbaminohemoglobin formation. Okay, for the exchange of gases, very important is the thickness of the wall, alveolar wall, where it is mainly consisting of three layers: epithelium of alveoli, endothelium of blood capillary, as well as the basement membrane between them. Okay, so with this, the thickness of the layer also makes a difference in the diffusion, and concentration gradient also makes the difference in the case of diffusion. Whereas compared to oxygen, carbon dioxide is having more solubility towards hemoglobin, and carbon monoxide is more solubility in comparison with the carbon dioxide. Okay, so in case of transport of gases, especially transport of oxygen as well as the transport of carbon dioxide, where in case of transport of oxygen, which specially takes place through RBCs, and very least amount, around 3%, will takes place through dissolved plasma. Here also there is a factor such as partial pressure of oxygen, partial pressure of carbon dioxide, hydrogen ion concentration as well as temperature, which will make a difference in the transport in case of alveoli as well as body tissues for both oxygen and carbon dioxide. One of the very important way of transport of carbon dioxide is through it is transported as bicarbonate, okay, with the help of an enzyme known as carbonic anhydrase. So then moving on to the regulation, we have mainly two regulatory centers. One is the respiratory rhythm center found in the medulla, and pneumotaxic center found in the pons region, where pneumotaxic center is not acting directly, which will be activating on this particular respiratory rhythm center. Especially there is a presence of chemosensitive areas which will recognize the increase in the carbon dioxide level, and that will send a signal towards the rhythm centers. There are mainly three kinds of disorders, that includes asthma, emphysema as well as occupational respiratory disorders. So this is regarding to the chapter breathing and exchange of gases. Thank you.